The story with Kosovo is probably a different story.
Mm-hmm.
That is really more on the Danish model of trying to create a prison for non-EU nationals and to put them outside the borders of the EU. So I think the visit last week of our Minister of Justice and Minister of Asylum in Albania, I think, had another mean or another goal than the one in Kosovo.
I mean, I do think, though, that this whole thing could set a worrying precedent. You know, the people that society doesn't want, let's ship them off to some other country and put them in a prison, which is potentially out. I'm not saying this is what the Belgian government is trying to do. I'm talking about how other countries could take advantage of this situation. You know, in another country where maybe the legal protection is not the same, the rights for prisoners are not enforced in the same way. They're not in Albania, I believe, as much as they are in Belgium. You know, I'm worried that there are certain countries in Europe, aside from Belgium, who would maybe not care so much and would just want people out of the country as soon as possible. We've had with Italy recently, you know, they built the migrant center here and there was a lot of concern about it. We have migrants who were trying to kill themselves because the conditions were so bad. I understand the need, but I do have concerns about not Belgium per se, but how other countries may then follow on from this. What do you think personally? Do you think it's a good idea?
No, personally, I don't think it's a good idea. It's a very expensive populist idea. That is actually what we are doing. Is in the population, of course, it's very populist to say that people that end up in prison, we'll put them to some other country far away, and they will not be in our prisons anymore. So it's a good solution. Of course, it's not that simple as that, because even if you make an agreement with Kosovo to create cells in a prison there, you will have to pay hard cash to do that. And in the end, there are a lot of human rights at stake too, because if you try to put prisoners that live their life in Belgium or are found here or convicted here, and you want to put them, for instance, in Kosovo, that there is, of course, a problem with visitor rights. How can your family that maybe lives in Belgium visit you? It's not possible. But this is actually the kind of legal issues that you also saw with the agreement between Meloni and Edi Rama concerning the asylum center that Italy was trying to have in Albania. It's the same legal arguments will be used to avoid that people get put in a prison in Kosovo. So actually, we know that Denmark has signed an agreement with Kosovo on this kind of prison in 2021, and we are now 2025. There are no prisoners in Kosovo. Now they say that maybe in 2027 the first prisoners will be there. It costs a lot of money. It's a popular idea to make a headline, but actually this is not what you should do. I think we should have enough capacity in our own country to solve our own problems. So actually, what I was a bit surprised about as well is when the Minister of Justice came back to Belgium from the trip to Kosovo and Albania, that actually her communication was the Kosovars will agree to this because they want to enter EU, and for that they will need our help, and then we can get. I think this seems a little bit simple, you know, to enter Kosovo into the EU. There are many reasons why it's not so easy. It will not be solved by offering prison cells. So that was a bit surprising.
It is though one of the things, I hadn't heard this before you'd said it, but it was one of the things I'd kind of thought in my cynical mind, you know, because Kosovo, I mean, it applied for EU membership. I can't even remember what year it was, 2022 or I don't remember exactly, but years ago, and nothing has happened. EU Council after EU Council has just ignored it. You know, they've had these sanctions and these measures enforced by the EU. There's no progress with the dialogue with Serbia. And I thought maybe they're trying to look good or to buy some brownie points from somewhere or to look like they're complying and trying to help out I did wonder if that was maybe a little bit part of it.